Distinguished guests, friends, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. As we know, plastic pollution has inflicted pain on human beings and society. This has become a concern of the whole world. In 2022, the BRICS countries' 14th meeting, we also held a high-level dialogue on the leadership. The list of outcomes includes number 18. China will work with INBAR to co-initiate the bamboo for plastic substitute as a substitute to fight climate change. Yesterday, INBAR has established, was celebrating the 25th anniversary of INBAR, and also in the opening ceremony, China, together with INBAR, co-released the bamboo for plastic as a substitute. Now today, we are hosting this together with China Flower Association, China Bamboo Industry Association, and International Center for Bamboo and Rattan. And now the meeting has begun. We will talk about ecological culture leads to the substitution of bamboo for plastics. Due to the COVID restrictions, we will hold this on live stream. And I am Liu Hong, President of China Ecological Culture Association. It's my honor to chair today's session, and I would like to introduce to you the experts and panelists today. First of all, Wang Xuan, from the former director of the department from the Ministry of Forestry. Mr. Li Hang, Publicity and Education Center of Ministry of Natural Resources, Secretary of the Party Committee. Beijing Shicai Environmental Consulting Group, Wang Ren, Director. Professor Ren Zhong, Zhejiang Agriculture and Forestry University. Madam Yu Wen, Senior Engineer, Zhejiang Hengfeng Top Leisure. The speakers include Madam Yang Su Yan, Secretary General, CBIA. We also have with us guests from China, Zhang Yinchao from China Association of Flower Association. Madam Li Xiaohua, Party Secretary of China Bamboo Industry Association. And we also have with us guests from China Culture Association, China Flower Association, Bamboo Industry Association, postgraduate students, and some media friends. On behalf of the organizer, I would like to extend my sincere welcome to all the guests, panelists, and experts. Thank you very much for your participation. Today we have 3 items in the agenda. First of all, we will give Madam Yang Su Yan the floor to have a welcome speech, and then they will have some experts will have presentations, and next is followed by remarks and conclusions. First of all, let's give the floor to Madam Yang Shuye, Secretary General of CBIA, to give us the opening remarks. Her Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Today is a very beautiful autumn. On this occasion, we are embracing the conference co-organized by China Agriculture Association, China Flower Association, China Bamboo Industry Association, and International Center for Bamboo and Rattan. We will talk about ecological culture leads to the substitution of bamboo for plastics. I would like to thank all the experts and participants for your support over the years. Half a month ago, in the 20th Congress, which has ended half a month ago, Secretary President Xi has pointed out that modernization of China is a coexistence and harmony between human beings and nature. So we need to build ecological civilization. To do that, we need to respect the culture, follow the rules of nature to promote ecoculture. Bamboos is an important part of our forest in China. Over the years, bamboo has played an important role in restoration, promoting economic development, and conserving environment. Over the years, China's bamboo industry has been gaining ground. Our bamboo forest area has reached more than 7 million hectares. We have a total output value of more than 300 million of 30 billion RMB. So in terms of standardization, R&D, and everything, we have made great breakthroughs. Our research findings have received awards for science and technology advancement at national level, and also awards for technology invention. We have about 200 standards for bamboo industry, accounting for more than 90% of the total standardization in the world. Bamboo industry has become an important means to revitalize the rural areas to achieve green and low carbon development. In eco civilization and beautiful China development, bamboo has played an indispensable role. This has become a green choice for us to develop the bamboo industry because ecology and green development will take the priority. Since the 18th Congress, the environment, green water and mountain is our also the gold mine for us. So this has become a major initiative for us.
So replacing the plastic with bamboo is based on the recycled use of bamboo, and which turned the ecological strength into an economical one, and it's optimized of the industry, and it's of greater significance. Our country has a long history of bamboo cultivation and utilization. The background of the bamboo culture. Facing plastic pollution, bamboo for plastic has become an important task for a responsible country to highlight the image of China, and also with the deepening of the development of eco-civilization, popularization of the concept of eco-culture. It has changed our understanding of the relationship between economy and the environment, as well as the value goal of human life. Well, this green, low-carbon, recyclable lifestyle and consumption concept is increasingly popular. The ecological lifestyle provides the soil and provide the great targets and for the development of bamboo-based plastics. Ladies and gentlemen, bamboo for plastic will become an important way to promote the transformation of in this regard, and the replacement of plastic with bamboo is very important. And the advancing of this target cannot go without the joint efforts of all stakeholders. So let us adhere to the idea of eco-civilization, and also to make the eco-culture guide the bamboo for plastic initiative, and so that we can help to lead the process of bamboo for plastic and continue to promote high quality development of bamboo industry, and for the early realization of a double carbon goal and building a beautiful China. Thank you. Well, thank you, Madam Yang. From your presentation, we can tell the faster development of China's bamboo industry and China's technological development in this industry, as well as a great potential for bamboo industry here Well, once again, we give thanks to Madam Yang. Now we come to the next part, the next section. That is a report section. Well, first of all, we would like to invite Mr. Li Han, the Party Secretary of the Publicity and Education Center of Ministry of Natural Resources. And well, the title is Marine Pollution and the Substitution of Bamboo for Plastics. Welcome.
我看不到我自己啊。
Sorry, I cannot see myself here on the screen. Well, did you see me, Madam Liu? Okay, so would you please present it in the full screen?
哎，不是这样，怎么往下了？往上还是往上一点？怎么了？
可以了，可以了，
可以了吗？
可以，很好。
Is that okay? Okay. Can you see me from the big screen? I'm sorry, it's a regret that I cannot see you. Well, I would like to start. Distinguished Madam Liu and also distinguished Mr. Wang, the Director General. Well, we haven't met for a long time. I would like to give thanks to the organizer for inviting me to deliver the presentation here in the site meeting. And this also shows the great attention paid by the organizer. I believe my participation is of great significance. Well, my topic is marine pollution and substitution of bamboo for plastics. Let's work together. First of all, I would like to introduce my center to you. Well, we're called the Publicity and Education Center of Ministry of Natural Resources. Well, we are a new center and we are actually made up of 3 centers. Well, because of the restructuring of the agencies under the State Council, and we have the Ministry of Natural Resources set up. So that's why 3 centers merged into 1 center. It's a center, my center now. We have these educational centers for the land, and also the educational centers for ocean, and also these promotion centers. Well, I come from the education center of the ocean. Well, I have some background of research in this regard. I'm very glad that I have the opportunities to report to you today. President Xi always highlights that it's necessary for us to integrate the marine ecological civilization into the marine development. And we need to focus both on development and conservation, focusing both on the contamination or pollution prevention and restoration, so that we can restore the marine resources. Well, first is about the serious situation of the marine waste pollution. Well, these years and these issues are the marine waste and microplastics have drawn attention internationally. The plastic waste takes up a big proportion for marine waste, about 80% every year, and about several million tons plastic go into ocean. If we let this go on, it's estimated that in 2050, the total amount of plastics in the ocean will surpass the amount of all the fishes. And 99% of the seabird will eat plastic as food by mistake. Well, that is very damaging. Well, what is the microplastic, which is everywhere? Because those plastic pollutants, after entering into the ocean, will be decomposed and finally forming the microplastics, which refer to the plastic particles and with the parameters less than 5 millimeters, and sometimes we cannot notice that by our naked eyes. Well, so along the beaches or in the ocean, we can see microplastics or plastic waste floating everywhere. In the ocean, even in the deep ocean, you can see it. That's to say, microplastics is everywhere, even in deep sea, they can be found. I found material, a reference material, which says that back in October 2000, one Australian organization carried out a survey said that in the deep sea in the world, and there was about 14 million tons of microplastics, 2 times of the amount of marine waste. Well, they just sent the submarine robot to go undersea as deep as about 3,000 kilometers. Even there, the microplastics could be found. And this breaks the records set before, times of that record. Well, can you just imagine in such a small area? And if we just amplify that, we can see how much or how many microplastics are there. I will show you another 2 pictures. So can you see chunks of plastics along the seaside? Well, it's really damaging to the natural beauty. Well, with the increasing understanding of this, we can find increasing evidence that plastic has brought about great challenge to not only the ocean resources, but also this overall ecological system and also these ocean animals. Well, so this is kind of like a very lukewarm phenomenon, and because people likely to ignore them, but actually, and these are really far-reaching the impact. So you can see the turtle is eating the plastics or swallowing these plastic bags. Or many of you might see the crabs trapped under by the fishing net, or maybe for some prey, they just covered by and these the plastics or the turtles, and be kind of the turtles died just because they swallowed and the plastics were not digesting it. Well, according to another survey by New Zealand, this year it said that for some wild fish in southern part of the its ocean, about over 3/4 of them have microplastics inside their body. Well, so those who live in the same water basin, the fishes and all contains a similar amount of microplastics. So this further proof that it's everywhere. And also later through the food chain, and these microplastics will once again come into the people's table and further damaging people's health. Well, I will come to the second part. China is taking action to clean up marine waste. Yes, we are taking actions. And so for the party, well, Mr. Wang Hong and the member of our party committee, of our ministry, and also the vice minister of National Oceanic Administration, he said that under the guidance of civilization concept, we are making unremitting efforts for the green development. But this was said during a seminar this year. Actually, back in 2007, China officially kicked off our monitoring work over marine garbage or waste. Well, in 2016, and we incorporate the marine or oceanic microplastics into the scope of monitoring. And the next year, it's the first time for China to expand the monitoring scope of plastic, microplastic, and into the ocean as well as the polar area. Well, on the government level, and there are also a series of documents released. For example, in this last August, the Ministry of Natural Resources released the notice of setting up the warning and monitoring systems for the marine ecosystem. It said that it's necessary and for us to expand the monitoring scope of microplastics in the ocean and in Yangtze River and in the Pearl River areas, and we will intensify the efforts of the monitoring. Well, you can see the 6 ministries this year, including my ministry, co-issued the 14th five-year plan of marine eco environmental protection and planning. And it stresses that we need to carry out this. We need to divide these different areas and also to fight battle in this regard to defend the ecosystem marine system. That is from the government level. In the civic level, we know that every September, the third Saturday is regarded as International Coastal Cleanup Day. On that very day, the volunteers coming from the whole world clean the garbage on the beaches under the organization of the different agencies. This lasted for years in China, and I was engaged in organizing this activity too. For example, as China Marine Development Foundation, it's a foundation under my ministry, and it's in the 6th year in a row to carry out this public activity on that very day, and they arrange the activities to clear the beaches. Well, and they are determined to continue with this effort every year on the same day, and there will be the national activities carry out. Well, this is also what they are doing during the campaign, and the volunteers just give handouts to people. Well, a lot of the volunteers organizations are engaged. Well, one people whose name is Zhao Jinyou is awarded as the Mr. Ocean back in 2013. He resigned from a troop, local troop army. Every Sunday, and he became a volunteer for clearing the beaches in Qingdao City. So he continued doing that for years, and we really touched him over that.
I'm the chair of that event, so each year we will identify one grassroots person as the People of the Year. As you can see that this person is working with the volunteers to collect the garbage on the coast. Some of these garbage are pushed to the coast by the tide. Another figure for the oceans, including the Blue Ribbon Ocean Conservation Society of Sanya. So they have carried out a series of events to conserve the ocean, such as Bian Yuqing. She is the figure of the year in 2012. This is the Blue Ribbon logo. As you can see that the civil activities, activism are very active, and there are many people involved in this. So the Ministry of Ecology and Environment and the Vice Director of Marine Eco and Environment Department said that by June 2022, the near coast floating garbage and microplastic, their average intensity is at a medium and low levels compared with the international situation. The third, replacing plastic with bamboo has great potential. This is the theme of today's event. I'm not an expert in this, but I would like to advocate those following information which I have acquired by myself as well. So to reduce plastic waste, contain the spreading of the microplastics is the unshakable common responsibilities of the mankind. The ocean garbage and microplastic of the ocean needs concerted efforts, and this is a global issue that needs global response. This year, in the 5th UN Environmental Congress was held in Nairobi, Kenya. Ending the plastic pollution is one of the resolution for today's event. For that event, representatives from countries have adopted the resolution ending plastic pollution, making a internationally legally binding document. While ending plastics, countries around the world are looking for the plastic substitutes. In 2020, China has issued the opinions on further strengthening the treatment of plastic pollution. Bamboo. Well, I'm a great lover of bamboos because in my home, in the backyard, there are some bamboos. It has its unique strength. It's like a God-chosen material. So I won't talk about it in detail, but I would like to advocate that if bamboos can replace a lot of the plastics, that would be great. We hope that this industry can grow rapidly, and I wish that this industry can be further promoted because of our site event. So let's take common actions and assume common responsibilities to protect the blue sea and sky, and to protect the blue homeland of mankind. And last, I would like to recommend one song. And every year in the World Ocean Day or the Ocean Awareness Day, we have a themed song. Every year, we will play the song. So this is a way to call for attention to our ocean by the society.
谢谢。
Thank you very much.
谢谢。
感谢李书记、李会
Thank
长
you very much, Mr. Lee, for your informative and insightful presentation. Mr. Lee has used both the text and images, statistics and simple languages, and beautiful songs, beautiful song to raise our awareness of the severity of the ocean plastic. And also, we are now educated by the government actions and civil society's actions. We know that we have a great potential to replace the plastics with bamboos. Thank you very much, Lee, for your presentation. Zhejiang Agriculture and Forest University Professor Ren Zhong could not make it here, and his topic is the pathways. Ecological culture leads to the way to realization of substitution of bamboo for plastics. And he will take Anji County of Zhejiang Province as an example. This county has implementing the 88 strategy of Xi Jinping. And in eco construction, it has been on the forefront of the eco construction domain. It has implemented the practice of replacing the plastics with bamboos, and it has identified the ways for this substitution. After the meeting, we will compile all the reports of the experts. By then, you are welcome to refer to our reports. Coming up next, let's give the floor to Takusen speaker, Madam Yu Wen, senior engineer, to deliver the presentation. She will talk about green products development with substitution of bamboos for plastics. Madam Yu, the floor is yours. Sorry, your voice is low. Yes, we can hear you now. Good afternoon, everyone.
大家下午好。很高兴能来参加第二届竹藤大会。
Today, it is my great pleasure to attend the session of the second Global Bamboo and Rattan Congress, and thank you very much for giving us the opportunity for exchange. My name is Yu Wen from Zhejiang Hengfeng Top Leisure. We are located in Huzhou. This is we are a top company for outdoor and leisure industry. Today, I would like to share with us some cases on replacing the plastics with bamboos, how to promote double-track circulation economy to promote green development. My presentation will be outlined in 3 aspects. We have been working with some research institutes for commercialization of the bamboo as a substitute for plastics. So we can see some cases. For instance, the grid packing in the cooling tower. It has and this has determined the quality of the cooling tower. Previously, the PVC packing is used. However, we have been working since 2006, a kind of bamboo grid packing. We have an annual sales of 260 million RMB. So in resisting cold and pollution and different kind of environment, it has very good performances, especially in northern countries. In northern regions, bamboo grid packing has a long life cycle. We can be used for 300 megawatt installations, and it can replace PVC in 15 years. We can save almost 3 million RMB for engineering cost in terms of the environmental performance. emissions can be reduced by 6 times. So for this kind of new grid packing has great environmental properties. On the right-hand side is the bamboo winding composite pipe. This is China's technology for the world. The material is made on the based on our research of a Zhejiang company, the Zhejiang company and International Bamboo and Rattan organization. So the material can be widely used in transportation, utilities, water, buildings, and military industry. The materials are recyclable and process reduces emissions. For instance, the composite pipe of the bamboo winding, the replacement rate is 75%. So by only investing about 200 billion, then it has a much higher output. We can reduce 54 million tons of carbon emissions. So we can see these home appliances. This is quite popular.
年出口额超过17亿美元，仅欧盟每年就进口超过5亿美元的竹制品。大型跨国公司宜家在推行。
The global market for bamboo products is about $53 billion with annual export exceeding $1.7 billion. The EU alone imports more than $500 million of bamboo products annually. As part of its sustainability strategy, IKEA, a large multinational company, has announced that bamboo is one of its preferred raw materials. Well, IKEA products mainly use the bottom and the middle of bamboo from home accessories and to furniture panels. Well, we, with the green development and also with this green concept, we prioritize our development of bamboo for plastics and for the outdoor industries. And we, together with those head or top companies, and we build these green industries and also satisfy people's pursuit for green and leisure life. First of all, let's look at this all outdoor scene application of bamboo. Garden furniture is usually placed in the open air environment for a long time, suffering from the perennial sun and rain agent deformation. So the weather resistance of the products is much higher than indoor furniture. Well, so most of the products use PS, the polyethylene plastic, and this can make the effect. Well, with the consumption upgrading, so we can see that it just used this heavy bamboo, and so-called, this is also called the reconstituted bamboo. This is made by dissolving bamboo into silk, and which is then compressed after high temperature and anti-insect, anti-mildew treatment. And outdoor furniture materials should also have both delicate comfort and weather resistance. This combined bamboo can solve the problem of multi-bamboo by physically treating the bamboo fiber cells to remove the nutrients in the cells and eliminating the breeding environment of mold, effectively controlling the bamboo products after its size change. Well, now we come to the semi-outdoor scene application. The consulting company Reportlink estimates that the global bamboo board market will grow at a compound annual growth rate of 5.18% over the next 5 years, with a market value $120 million. As a designing, research, and development project export companies, the Texan began early in the bamboo board product promotion. So we can see this European style camping table and SRV dining table, camping agro-lean table, camping chair, armrest, and outdoor leisure bed legs and other products. Well, this it has a lot of application. Indeed, but we also requires very kind of high requirement for the material processing, and so Texans work with these local bamboo companies, and so that they use this specialized carbonized artisan and on the processing of raw materials, and also to use a more endurable coating and with environmental friendly features. And also in 2002, it helped to add a revenue of 26.82 billion yuan to the income of enterprises and 2.1 million yuan to the income of the local farmers in the fiscal year. And next, we come to the application of bamboo packing. Like most products in the industry, Texas products use a lot of plastic bags, and also to make sure that they don't get scratched or damaged in transport. So in the process of setting up this green factory, Texan launched a packaging deplasticizing action and using bamboo craft paper instead of packaging lining material wrapped products, playing a very important role in protecting the product. Bamboo craft paper process is similar to the ordinary craft paper through the dissolution. Well, actually, in 2022 fiscal year, it has reduced 3.26 tons of lined plastic consumption. Next is about the challenge of innovating bamboo outdoor industry. Well, also Texan takes the lead in opening up new channels and for the bamboo industry by bamboo for plastic. Of course, and it's also facing some challenges. First, the market acceptance is limited. According to the preliminary market feedback results, there is some misunderstanding for these consumers towards bamboo products. And many consumers know the innovation development of bamboo industry is still at the application level. They just don't have a real and good understanding of it. For outdoor leisure furniture, and still takes up a small proportion of the bamboo products. And also there's a lack of understanding of the consumers toward these bamboo materials. And it still takes time for popularizing the bamboo-related knowledge. And the second is the lack of R&D efforts. It requires a lot of R&D capacity because the outdoor leisure products, it's designing and can integrate and this surface processing and also the treating, protection, etc. There is so far no systematic solution to all these problems. That's to say, it greatly restrained the bamboo materials applications in the other fields, the outdoor leisure products and other fields. Well, thirdly, the cost compromise. And because now the bamboo is still priced relatively high and it's not as cheap as plastic products. So especially for those price-sensitive customers, and they're reluctant or even against the promotion of bamboo products. So this kind of restraint this green economic development. Well, thirdly, to promote the bamboo for plastic green economic development, we should make countermeasures. Well, and also these bamboo-related packaging or these composite materials or these decomposite plastics, and they all have a very bright future for their application. So here I would like to give two suggestions. So first is that we should strengthen or enable to explore new space for bamboo product designing, and also to strengthen the scientific and technological empowerment, and to encourage these research institutions to strengthen their R&D, and also to develop those bamboo deep processing companies, renowned ones in the international arena. So based on this, and we can strengthen the industrial transfer and also promote this quality development of bamboo industry and the green economy. and also to develop the circular economy to increase efficiency, reduce carbon, leverage the bamboo for plastic-free industry development. And we should also form this circular development model of resources processing product back to resources. At the same time, we should also dig out both domestic and overseas strengths, and also to change our edge and into the edge of economy and industry. So finally, and I would like to, I hope that if you're interested in this topic, then you can contact me afterwards. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Madam Liu. So just now, you just like to give us a clear map and of the development, and also give the solutions for the target. So that to say, it should speed up the efforts and to push forward and this bamboo for plastic target, and also based on the dual circulation of using both the domestic and international resources, and to facilitate its development and to add to the income of the local people, and to promote green and environmentally friendly development. You also give us a lot of useful recommendations and suggestions. So thank you once again, Madam Yu. Well, now I would like to give floor to Mr. Wang Ren, a director of Beijing Shichai Environmental Consulting Company Limited. His topic is setting up the circular economical systems for plastic packaging. Thank you. First of all, I would like to give thanks to the organizer. I would like to introduce to you and the European system, and also the circular economic system. I come from Shichai Environmental Consulting Company, and before that, I was in charge of MyCast Foundation to promote the circular plastic economy in China. Well, now I am in charge of one company, and also the expert and for the China Packaging Association Circular Economic Committee. Well, because we are talking about circular economy now, but for a plastic circular economy, and it didn't become popular till recent years. So one trigger is that, or the one major reason is that back in 2017, China State Council, also China notified the WTO that the ban of the import of overseas garbage, and later issued implementation plan for promoting the reform of solid waste import management system by prohibiting entry of foreign garbage into China. Well, for the domestic waste, and for 40% of them are packaging, plastic packaging. Well, so that's why plastic circular economy can provide a solution. Well, what is a circular economy? So it's an economy that focuses on a systemic approach. Well, we don't target a certain link or a certain section. To put it simple, and if we focus only on the designing of plastic packaging or the collection of it, we cannot address the root reason of plastic pollution. Only when we set up this circular economic system can we really solve this problem. What is the circular economy? It has several principles. So it's design oriented. That's to say, when we are designing the packaging, we, as much as possible, try to maintain its optimal value. As to say at the very beginning, we try to minimize the use of packaging material. If it is a must, we should also prevent this from happening. And also, these are kind of basic principles for circular economy. We have such a great vision. What it is, a specific picture. Well, through the designing and the innovation, and we also need to eliminate this problematic or unnecessary plastic like PVC, PVS, etc. Because PVC might add to the difficulty of plastic recycling, the degrading of the quality, and it's similar with PVC. Well,
other materials like straws and other disposable plastics. On the second hand, we try to reused model. For instance, the mug cup to replace the plastics, the disposable ones to reduce the use of plastics. And also when all the plastic packages should be recyclable, reusable, and compostable by design. And fourth, all plastic packaging should be reused, recycled, or composted in practice. The fifth is that the use of plastic is fully decoupled from the consumption of infinite resources, such as oil resources, petrochemical, and fossil fuels. And also number 6, all plastic packaging is free of hazardous chemicals to ensure the health and safety of all people. If there are some hazardous fills, it can also affect the recycling of the products. A lot of the policies are from EU. EU is the head of the circular economy. In 2020, the plastic packaging recycling rate calculation has changed. So there's a decline of 3 to 4 percentage points compared with 2009. So we saw the number was 42% in 2019. However, using the new methodology, it has reduced by 3 percentage points because the recycled packaging should be calculated not from when you pick it up from the trash. You have to grind it, remove the residues to identify its recycled rate. So in 2020, the recycled rate is declining. And also for soft drink package, like in the around the world, the entity is the plastics, the PET, the transparent bottles. The proportion is 68%. Among them, 4% are reusable. Another 60 remaining are just one-time use. For instance, the metal, also the glass, are also part of the shares. The metal has reduced to 19%. 0 is reusable. Nobody would reuse the metal bottles, but for glass, it's 5%. And 3% is reusable. So the reusable rate is more than half of the glass, but the glass is heavier and has a higher intensity by the plastics. So in carbon emissions and the transportations and productions. So actually the emissions is higher than the plastics. So let's take a look at the EU policies. So this has included in the overall policy. For instance, we have PVWD directive. The updated version will be released by the end of this month. The recycling status of the packaging in Europe is that the plastics has a lower recycle rate. So for the plastic strategy of EU was announced in 2018 in January. So actually our restriction on importing of the foreign garbage has given rise to this directive. One of the directive is targeted at some beach garbage. 10 types accounts for 86% of the plastics of the pollution. So it's very well targeted. This includes straws and cigarette butts. This disposable plastic directive is to reduce consumption, Article 4. For instance, the food containers, cups, the cup lid, those are drastically declined in the consumption. So we're advocating for rational, reasonable consumption. I think these are the part that is compatible with EU for the banning prohibition part. For instance, the cotton swab, the catering, the plates and straws. We have prohibited those non-degradable ones. So this one, disposable plastics, we have very clear solutions for each type of product. Some is outright banning. Another is through EPR, which is by charging the cost, imposing a cost on it to reduce the cost. For instance, the food containers adopt the EPR approach. And also for the soft drinks containers, such as PB bottles, they adopt the EPR. And outreach plays an important role. For instance, the wet tissues, the women's sanitary products. If you are plastic, then they have to put on a logo on it to say that it's a plastic inside. So this is like the smoking banning. It's like smoke is bad for your health, that kind of logo on the cigarette package. This is the impact that European Union wants to exert. So we can see that design is an important approach. So they have the upstream innovation guideline. So they will use 3 strategies to minimize the use of plastics. First is elimination, reuse, and recycle. So design has become a textbook for the global packaging practitioners for recycling. So they have a recycle class. They have like a Bible for recycling, so that every designer or researcher of packaging can take that into account to make sure that your package is recyclable. By 2025, our vision is that all the packaging should be recyclable or reusable. For instance, this toothpaste is a recyclable tube structure because HDPE tube is integrated into the design. In the past, it has PP, HDPE, high melt flow, aluminum foil. Now, they use one material, HDPE, to do this design. And then this can also be applied and recycled together with the shampoo bottle and stuff like that. So in different continents, among different continents, EU is the only one that make it mandatory to that no less than 25% of the tea should be included in the plastic bottle. Another is 30% by 2030. In US and Australia, they don't have such kind of mandatory approach. So EU's idea is that by the demand should be the pillar to drive the development of the circular economy. When the demand is guaranteed, then the upstream has the incentive to build such a system for collection and recycle and reuse system. In China, we are working towards this goal, even though we don't have this large scale design systems for that, but we are working on some design specifications and standards. We can see that in European Union, the plan is to have the PVWD directive. The D can be changed to regulation. It will be transformed from a directive to a regulation so as to escalate its role. By 2025, the packaging recycled rate should be 50% by plastics and 55% by 2030. So others are even higher than that. So reuse is an approach that is stressed by European Union. The Drinking Association of EU have some strong opinions about this plan. According to those disclosed plans, by 2030, EU drinking bottles reuse rate should reach 20 to 25%. By 2040, it should reach 75%, which is to say this is to overhaul the current recycle system. All of the package should be reusable. So this is an overhaul to the current industry. The industrial chain, the drinking association and stuff are strongly opposed it, and they are appealing to the European Committee. They are arguing about it. So we've been talking about using bamboos as a substitute for the plastics. So EU are prohibiting the plastic component, but the replacement is that you can replace it by bamboos or wood, but you cannot make these products into biodegradable plastics because in EU's definition, this is still a plastic that should be banned. It's not like when you make it biodegradable plastics, you can replace that as the raw plastics because in EU directives, they are both prohibited. So from design, because the recycle begins with the design. If you design the package into a non-recyclable one, for instance, the PVC or those black ones, or those cannot be dismantled, then it cannot be recycled. Or to make it into small shapes, then it's not recyclable. So at the collection side, we have a system for instance, the single collection or the hybrid collection. So they will have some sorting machines. For instance, in EU and Japan, they have this material recovery facility. So there's a medium facility to separate the recyclable ones into plastics, wood, and metals, and then put it into different recycling facilities for regeneration. So the consumers, a lot of the times, they don't know whether this product is recyclable. So the recycling label is a way to communicate with the consumers. In Australia, they have a logo, they have a label, which has the highest rate, the recognition by the EU. they have 3 labels. If you are this triangle, means recyclable. White one is conditionally recyclable. If you have this film, the third one, that means not recyclable. So it's easier to be accepted by the consumers. But in China, we're still relying on the government designated definition about what is recyclable, what is not. So it's not very clear. So when we receive a package, whether this is recyclable or recyclable, it's hard to tell. For instance, the mineral water, if the tap is recyclable or not, or if the label is recyclable or not, we don't know where to put it in the trash bin. But then using those logos, then labels, then we can know it very well where to put the trash. So if we want to collect it, we need also transportation. All of them need funding, and where does those funding from? So we have the responsibility of the producers. So the global practice is that the EPR is to provide dedicated, sustained, and sufficient funding to achieve the collection and recycling and sorting out. If you use this voluntary fund, if those volunteers refuse to continue to donate, then your money supply is out.
So that's why it is a specialized and sufficient fund, and it's also sustainable. It's very important to set up this circular economic system. Well, take the UK, for example. Well, it planned to apply EPR in 2024. As to say, and they well also give the labels like what is whether it's recyclable or not. So the labeling is very important. So whether it is degenerable or not, and there must be some the proof and to show that it can be degraded. Well, as to say, there should be a system to back it up instead of only addressing the surface. Singapore is another good example. It also plans to set up an EPR system, and it's decided to build a waste-free city. Well, it's also a limit on the packaging. Because these packaging producers will need to report the production of a package to the government, and it's also very necessary. Well, with this, I will end today's introduction. I mainly talk about this funding of a circular economic system. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Wang. We know that plastic is hard to degrade, degenerate. So you just now, and from the redesigning of the package and put forward a new model of as economic model, and also talk about that under framework of 14th five-year plan. And you also give us cases of the EU countries, like EU countries, and as well as the UK, Singapore. Well, you give us a very good answers to the question. Thank you, Mr. Wang, for your wonderful presentation. Well, now we come to the third agenda. That is to invite our commentators to comment and summarize on the previous reports. So now I'd like to give floor to member of the China Ecological Culture Association, member of the expert steering committee, and also the special expert, Mr. Wang Xuan, and to deliver comments and also to the summary of the meeting today. In today's eco-culture-led bamboo for plastic meeting, we have 4 experts from different fields made wonderful reports, presentations, and we are also greatly inspired and enlightened. Well, my summary is also how I feel. I would like to share with you here today. Actually, eco-culture is the eco-wisdom and cultural treasure handed down from generation to generation by the Chinese nation, and it's an important support for our national development, rejuvenation, and civilization progress. Human beings and all things in the nature are community. That is to say, the universe, the geographic environment, and all things of the nature are interdependent, and they also influence one another. So it's kind of a material cycling ecological system. The core idea of ecological culture, the man and the nature coexist harmoniously together. This is the core concept of eco-culture. In the report of the 20th National Congress of the CPC, harmonious coexistence between man and nature is one of the 5 features of a Chinese-style modernization. It promotes harmonious coexistence between man and nature, promoting the development of a community with a shared future for mankind, creating a new form of human civilization, and also respecting nature, conforming to nature and protecting nature are actually the inherent requirement and the basis of planning and the development of a modern socialist country in an all-round way. At the same time, and the report of the 20th National Party Congress also made sure that we should accelerate the green transformation of the development mode, developing green and low carbon industry, also to have a systematic control of the environmental pollution, deepening prevention control of environmental pollution. Well, yesterday, President Xi, in his congratulations letters to a Second World Bamboo and Rattan Conference, and as well as the 20th anniversary of INBAR, it pointed out that the Chinese government, together with the International Bamboo and Rattan Organization, work together to implement the Global Development Initiative and also to push forward this 2030 SDG agenda by the UN to cope with climate change and reducing plastic pollution. So this is actually the implementation of the spirit for the 20th Party Congress, and also actively engagement in global governance, as well as China's actions for contribution to the eco civilization. China is a country where bamboo originated, with the richest bamboo resources and the profound bamboo culture. Well, the life cycle of bamboo products maintain a low carbon level or even a negative carbon footprint throughout their life. Well, they are naturally degraded, actually. As Mr. Li Han said, and it is a natural choice among the biological materials in the list of plastic alternatives. Mr. Li discussed with us on the impact of plastic pollution on the marine ecological environment and shared China actions to prevent and removing plastic pollution from the ocean, protecting the marine ecosystem. Professor Ren Zhong's report cited the case in Anji, Zhejiang province, and he also talked about the past and experience of taking the lead in carrying out the practice of plastic of bamboo for plastic in bamboo township industry, and the Yuwen Madam Yuan also introduced the opportunity of replacing plastic with bamboo, a green transformation development in Capstone industrial group to promote the primary industry by the secondary sector of the economy and expanding the research, development, production, and application of the bamboo products. Well, Wang Yan also described the establishment of circular ecological system for plastic packaging, character status of plastic waste recycling, and the new plastic economic vision and the 14th five-year plan for circular economy, development plans in EU countries and other countries. As to say, the four experts shared with us their experience, their vivid cases, detailed data, and their inclusive views and on the value and strategic thinking of ecological culture in leading the bamboo for plastic era. And we were greatly inspired and enlightened. So we should say that we can see a lot of harm of the plastic pollution. As to say, there's no time left for us and to have a clean ocean. So that to say the marine plastic pollution data are really shocking. Well, the pollutants break down and form particles and melt into seawater and forming direct threat to marine life. Well, people just see those soft drink bottles, the plastic bags, and on the along the beach. And those who have seafood believe that what they take freshly from the ocean are just clean seafood. But actually, they didn't realize how horrible the problem is. If this problem continues, then the marine or oceanic resources will become disastrous. Second, so we should focus both on the governance as well as the prevention of the oceanic pollution, and the government should work with civil societies and to contribute to this. Well, after hearing this song played after Mr. Li Hang's presentation, we believe that ocean serves as a blue sky, and for these oceanic animals, well, to say we shall make every effort together, and also to strengthen recycling and carry out governance, and also to practicing out what was stressed by President Xi, focusing on both development and conservation, as well as pollution prevention and ecological restoration. And so that we can, in a scientific way, reasonably develop and utilize oceanic resources and maintain the regeneration capacity of the ocean. Thirdly, and we should also the two mountain theories and shows and this new form, of cultural heritage and a new form of ideas, keeping up with times. Well, for Mr. Ren Zhong, he couldn't make it here because of he's sick, but he ended in the written report. Well, I was greatly inspired and by what he wrote down. So I think it's very good and to have this model, they combining these households and in these rural areas and in this overall picture. Anzi and is the place and where the idea of the two mountains by President Xi came into being. So from this logging to taking care of the mountains, and from taking care of the mountain to following this natural development, and also the bamboo development, and it goes through 4 stages. And that also serves as a vivid example at these waters and mountains are really treasuries and for us, and also these mountains, water, forestry, farmland, and they are a community for shared future. Well, and this just showed us this dialectic relationship between man and nature, and also the equal and environmental protection as well as the social and economic development. This also shows that this bamboo carbon trade and can be measured and can mortgaged, and also can be traded as to say, and the transformation of green economy just comes from the inner side, and also it shows the strength of the guidance by the eco culture. Well, firstly, and we should also promote the cultures and to carry out cooperation with INBAR and also countries along the Belt and Road and countries under the South-South Cooperation framework. So in this way, and I believe it's an arduous journey, and it requires and this visionary planning as well as the down-to-earth hard work, and so that we can realize our target, such as the revitalization of the rural areas.
太普森实业集团率先在户外产品中实施以株代素。那么原材料加工、特殊碳化工艺、竹制花园家具走进绿色休闲生活，重组竹替代塑料，竹浆牛皮纸替代塑料包装，内贸外贸。
Using the bamboos as the plastics, using the bamboos as a substitute for the plastic, we can establish a industrial cluster based on the circular economy. And number 6, we need to take into account environment, ecosystem in there, because they are the decisive factor in the harmony between man and nature. A diverse and co-governance system is imperative for us. From the experts' point of view, we can see that on one hand, we need to eliminate the polluting materials in the design, and those discarded materials should be recycled and reused to achieve a circular economy. So those are areas that we can learn from. Wang Ren has mentioned in particular the logistics sector. We believe that the logistic industry is a great way to promote our initiative to replace the plastics with bamboos, because we can facilitate all walks of life. Because we are ensuring the flow of materials, because we have a lot of potential in this regard. The substitute products R&D, promotion, rolling out have a big potential and wide application. However, to ensure safe logistics and human-oriented logistics is not that easy. First of all, we need to have qualified and eligible replacement product to meet the demands. And the industry sectors, different flows should have experiment on that. Based on that, the replacement of the plastics for bamboos. Plastics of need to touch upon different sectors of life. So for such a big room, we need to achieve our goal, and this is a big challenge for us. So we believe that green life needs our self-discipline, and we also need to have the systems in place. The government should take the guide, the industries should be the pillar, science should be the booster, and the people should have the self-discipline and implement the green life. So so that we can boost the development of the industry and the planning of the industry to replace the plastics with bamboos. So this is critical. Resources, when the resources are sorted out, and industry development, be it big or small, or different domains, can be clarified. So this balance should be in place before we implement our plan. If we, the R&D, cross-disciplinary R&D and funding support will guarantee the raw material supply and supply of those bamboos as a substitute for plastics. We also have incentives and also the logistics supply incentives guarantee at the market. So we still have a long way to go. The presentations of the experts means that we need to use clean energy. We need to refrain from using excessive amount of resources. We need to make proper use of nature and properly transform the nature. We need to care for nature. This is a ecological values. And we also have a new way of development that emphasizing security of the ecology system. We need to, the more we developed, our connections between one another is more important. To practice this substitution and to achieve the two carbon goals, they are interconnected with one another as a strategies. So this is a systematic, economic, and social green transformation. China, as a responsible major power, need to take concrete actions to take the lead and participate in the global governance reform and development. This is a green revolution that we are ushering. We need to harmonize the relationships between mankind and nature. This is how we integrate the eco culture into China's efforts to build a modernized society. We need to enrich and develop human civilizations as a new form of development. It is our imperative to do so. This kind of leadership need to be integrated into people's lives, and bamboo's culture and creativity should be integrated into rural revitalization, industry development, and environmental protection as part of the market-based development. So in terms of the bamboo industry, production, logistics, the whole process should be sorted out, including the culture and innovation, and tourism should integrate the value of ecology into their products and services. So we need to integrate our creativity, traditional culture, and everything into the new modernized world. So from material to spirit, we need to innovate for better development to ensure the vitality of our life and continuity of our life. To lead the green development and green way of life, we need to have an innovative transformation. This is an important force behind our environmental endeavor. We believe that to prevent and control pollution, it will exert a profound impact. Such kind of substitution for the plastics is a major initiative for us. Everyone will generate waste. However, everyone is capable of mitigating the impact and pollutions and minimize the waste. So we need to take actions so that we can build a holistically modernized socialist country to promote the rejuvenation of Chinese nation, to build a clean and beautiful world. We need to contribute our China's power. Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Wang, for your comments. Madam Wang has a systematic wrap-up of all the presentations, and she has summarized all the major points. She mentioned that this kind of initiative have practical values, and we are deeply inspired by that. Once again, let's give the Round of applause to Madam Wang's comments. Excellencies, friends, in the 20th Congress report, we are in an era full of challenges and an era of hope and opportunities. Eco-culture is an important part of Chinese culture. This is a way to promote harmony and coexistence between man and nature. Eco-culture has become a mainstream culture in this new era. So our association as an organ to promote green life, build eco-civilization. We are a national public interest-oriented organization. We will work with China Flowers Association, Bamboo Industry Association of China to study and implement President Xi's thoughts and the principles of the 20th Congress. We will collaborate with each other to create a better future, and we can continue to work hard and blaze new ground. And we need to play our part to build eco-civilization and a beautiful China. Thank you very much for your excellent presentations and comments, and thank you very much for your participation. This is the end of our session. Thank you very much.